All right, everybody, welcome to a early secret session. I'm going to do an early end of day here. I got a long day ahead of me. I will be traveling to California tomorrow. So let's just start digging into these charts and see what the heck we got going on. All right, so the thing I want to bring up is yesterday in the members area, and one thing is everybody knows who has been following me that everything I do, you guys all know that I call out, and I have been calling out that that Litecoin has been leading the way. Okay, so this is all our member stuff. So yesterday, where was that at? And you guys all know. So here we are. I think that was it right there, 9 o'clock. Is it 9 o'clock? So here's all my notes in my VIP area. So this is in the VIP area. You guys are seeing this direct. So I called this a dead cat bounce, right? I said this looks like a dead cat bounce off the weekly support line, right? This is everything I said. There's the 9 is still going to bleed out. Now remember, my analysis inside here is deep, right? So these are, I said, only scalping trades because we had a bunch of people that were scalping and wanting to scalp. I said everything here, people were scalping longs. I said everything's only a scalp here. And then the first thing I did is I went over, and this is 9 o'clock yesterday. It is a whole new day today. It's 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I said, hey, listen, everything follows Litecoin, right? And I put this, I said, careful, all have bear crosses. Here you see, 4 hour, 6 hour, 12 hour, all have bear crosses getting very close to crossing, right? And I said, watch out, this thing is going to break. And then snap. I mean, you guys see. So this is a little while later. I came back a little later. It's 3 o'clock in the morning, and it started to break down, right? And then this is 11 o'clock this morning. And 11 o'clock this morning, you see that just all hell broke loose, right? So the bottom fell out and everything. So here was my Litecoin charts. There was my bottom Litecoin target, came right down into my bottom Litecoin target. Now, did I expect it to tank like this? No, I didn't. I didn't expect it to take this hardcore of a dive just quite yet. I expected a little more sideways action before it fell out. But this, it was a good call. I mean, found my bottom there. Now I feel I need to rechart right now because I'm not comfortable in any of the positions that I'm in right now. I really want to take a look, and this is why I wanted to come on here and do it live with everybody. I wanted to really come on here and do it live with everyone because I want to get a better idea of what's going on. And I'm in a short. I posted my short. I was up 17% on a 20K short. Okay, so it was a really, really good short position I put myself in last night. Now, I don't have an exchange where I can short LTC, or I would have. And I told, I was in there. I was saying, boy, I hope everybody shorted LTC. Yeah, let's just start to dig into this chart really quick. I want to get in this thing. I want to get some stuff. So we do have our top line resistance on the 12 hours moving down. Let's see where we're at. Okay, so a lot of this stuff is moving. So we're moving down here. We're going to get rid of this. Our resistance is moving down. There's our 200 MA. Okay, we are about to do a very, very bearish cross. So let's get in here, and we're gonna just start making new notes. Okay, I'm actually gonna make a new section of notes, and then I'll get rid of this old one. So number one, we all need to be aware that on the 12 hour, in 4 hours, you will have you have a death cross, a bear cross. And that's between the 7 and the 50. Okay, so you got a 7 and 50 bear cross right here. Whoa, it's a little big. Let's bring that down. Okay, so you got a 7 and 50 bear cross right there. And Yeah, it's right there. So you've got a big bear cross coming. So look at all the support. Look at this. So I nailed this perfect. This came down here, hit my circle perfect. I'm going to scoot this over. People don't think I'm... Dude, I swear to God, I got a bunch of trolls today. It was hilarious. No, man, your charts were wrong. Your charts were wrong. I was like, dude, my freaking... I've been saying Litecoin is perfect. Litecoin leads the way, and Litecoin started dropping out. I was watching this. I was watching all this live when I was making my charts, my Litecoin chart. I said, Litecoin's falling out, guys. Watch out. Here it comes. And I said, you know, Litecoin's dumping. So this came down. Look at all the support we have in here, right? So you have all the support right here. Came down into our support zone, hit perfect into our support zone, right? So now we're going to have to adjust our resistances because your solid resistance is now going to be here, right? Even though this is a resistance level, we're going to, actually, I'm going to put this back. Your more solid resistance is in here. Here's your heavy weekly support. So now you have to compete back up through this heavy weekly support. It is now moved to resistance. So this heavy weekly support is now resistance. Okay. So there it is right there. So this is what I was saying. If this broke below this weekly line, that was it. It was over. And there you go. So we drop down. All right, there's the support. Let me go to the daily. Okay, so you're gonna get a daily. This is not gonna cross right here. Okay, so here, look, there's your support. So this is the daily support level still there. I'm sorry, this is now turned into daily resistance. Daily 30 MA. 30 MA resistance, so that's right there. Look, there it is. Look, there's your support. You came down, you're tapping on your little support right there. What else do I see? What else do I see? All right, so the daily, look, here's your 128. I've been saying as long as you're below the 128, you're brutal. Do I think this can go back up? Yes, we are in a danger zone right now. We'll get to that in a second, okay? We will get to that in a second. I think a bounce is possible. I think, but how far down are we got to go to get this bounce? There's still room to go down here. There's still room to go down lower before we got to bounce. Okay, so here's the daily. Okay, so we've also got the daily 7 MA is here, but this thing is going to move fast. So we got the daily and the 3-day, I think, are right here. This thing is going to move fast. This 7, as soon as this is done, though, this 7 is going to come all the way down. So there's going to be a possible... So 2, we're going to put a possible 7 and a 100 bear cross on the daily. All right, so I'm just going to say it's possible only. All right. And let's go to the 2-day. Okay, so on the 2-day, you're possibly going to get a bear cross. So same thing. Let's go over here and number 3. This looks like a bear cross. So we're going to say 2-day bear cross with the 7 and the 200. It's also possible. All right, that resistance is still there. This thing could come down and touch. I don't know if it's going to quite get there. All right, there's your 2-day support, right? Resistance right there. Look, there's your 3. Look at your support. Look at this right here, people. See? Look at this. Came right down, tapped that absolutely perfect. Right? Tapped the 2-day absolutely on the money and bounced off of it. Okay, let's pull up our 3-day. So we're going to go to our 3-day here. This I don't know. I don't know if this is going to come together yet or not. I don't see anything here on the 3-day. I don't see anything here on the 3-day that can help me either way. So the 3-day's not helping me. It just shows that you now have resistance up here. That's all that is. Daily doesn't help me. And then let's look at our weekly. So here's the weekly. All right, there's our weekly support. We're just a little bit lower. At 68.83 is our lower support we have here. This will cross. This will cross. Right? No ifs, ands, or buts. This will cross. So I had a short from EOS way up here and a short from LTC. I dumped those down here before this thing broke, and I increased. I picked up a short on BTC. So I picked up a BTC short. I just posted that on Twitter. So if you were over on Twitter, I did post that in Twitter. It is right there. It is. So I did pick this up. You see my entry. My entry was 73.88. I did pick this up. It was a nice win. I did this because I can't short Litecoin. So that's why I did that. And you see that the win there. Can throw that in the win category. There is our listen, we got 48 hours though. Okay, so we have 48 hours left of trading here. So I mean, your super heavy support level is going to be down here 6,300. Super heavy support 6,300, then 6,700 is where you got a lot of support. Okay, so yeah, so we're just gonna move this line right here. There's that. My title is heavy support. So that's heavy support right there. So if this thing does break down, right, one more time to try to find a bottom, this would possibly be your bottom right here. Okay, so you guys would be looking for this bottom. There's your heavy support line. So if this thing were to break this 7 MA, you would head down here and look for the heavy support right there. Let's see if this has got anything's down there to catch it. I don't see anything down there to catch it. I don't see anything. Listen, all right. Nope. There's just nothing down here. Where would I fall? Let's try the monthly maybe. Yee. Weekly. All right. No. Yeah. Ooh. Yee. Do you want 4,900? God, that's just a tough one. Yeah. tough one. Tough one right here. Because the next support is at 4,800 down there. 3-day. No, there you go. So 5,600 we've got support. We've got support at 5,600. 64 and 5,600 is kind of where we're at. All right, so, all right, let's clean up a bunch of this. And there's the ETF stuff. I'll keep this up high here. I'm going to pull some of these off here. Get rid of that. $30 and the 50. We do have that bear cross. 48 hours. 48. Sorry, not 48. 52 hours. So we do have that bear cross of 52 hours. There we go. So you got a couple targets here. Let's shrink these targets up. So there's one target right there. So if this does dump back down into this range here, you know, all you're doing is you're just going right back into the kryptonite zone. So that's all you're doing. Just going right back down into the kryptonite zone. There it is. Okay, so I just want to peel this down one more time. Let me run through everything one more time here. Just want to get everything dialed in here. All right. So we are on our support of the weekly and the 3-day, 2-day. Okay, so I got my 2-day, got my 2-day 30 here. All right, here's my 2-day 30. Just trying to clean this all up. Sorry, I've been so busy. All right, so we've got the daily 100 here. We've got the daily 30 there. So I'm looking for bounce zones. So if this thing bounced, I'm trying to figure out where this thing is going to be bouncing to right now. But we have all these death crosses coming. So all these death crosses coming are going to, this is going to be your target down here for these death crosses. Yeah, I have my own indicator package that one of the members made for me. It's called VAMP. I just go to TradingView and type in VAMP. You'll get all my moving averages. And 12 hour, 12 hour. Man, this 12-hour death cross is just going to be brutal. I'm just going to get rid of all of this. It's so high up here now, I just don't think it's relevant at this point. If this bounces, we'll start just chasing this back up with our moving averages. But right now, it's got to get back up to the weekly right there. Okay, let's get this down to... Six hours. All right, what do we have? So we had a death cross on the 6 hour. It's making a rising wedge on the 6 hour. The 4 hour should have just finished. Ooh, look at that nice. Look at that nice candle. Nice reversal candle right there. So you have a really nice reversal candle. All right, but on the, so this could, so your 12, this needs to go up here. This needs to go up here. If this thing does bounce here, you're gonna look for it to come back up here and test the 20. But the bad news is, in 4 hours, you're gonna have. All right, so in 4 hours, you've got 5. The 4 hour chart has 2 death crosses, 2 bear crosses. You've got the 50 and the 100, and then you've got the 7 and the 200. And those are both going to happen in 4 hours. Right? And that's 4 hours. Okay, so you're going to get a double death cross. This is a really nice reversal candle, so you do have a really good reversal candle on the 4 hour. So we're also going to add that. 6 candle on the 4 hour. Can it hold because of the Let's go to 6 hour. 6 hours, no help. So there you have there's another level of support right there. So you got the so I'm gonna make this white. So you've got, nope, that's not. Sorry, it's the 120 day. That's not 128 day. Doesn't help us. This closes in 3 hours. So this is not a reversal candle right here. This is not a reversal candle. Now, if this shot up and then came all the way back down and stopped, it would be a good reversal candle for the following candle. All right, so I'm just going to go right back through this. I'm going to go back up to the 12 hour. There it is, and this is going to happen in 4 hours. So if we did get a bounce right here, we'd be looking for a bounce back up to the 200 MA there before we did tread lower because of these bounces. So you do have some resistance and support levels down here. Let's see, 2 day, 3 day. Do have a target right in here. Weekly, no help. Three-day, yep. 2 day, all right. Now also let's just go through. I want to do a quick candle check. 3 black crows on the 2 day. Just death from above. Right here, this is just literally death from above with a support at 6,400 range. Yeah, we're good with 6,400. You know, you're going to have that daily death cross that's possibly going to happen. I mean, this could really move. This 7 could get down here and cross with that 100. That is possible. You've got your 50 as support, so you're really close on the 50 right there. I'm just trying to see if the 2 day should close here. Okay, so the 2 day candle should close. And if the 2 day candle closes... So on the 2 day, we could see a 3 black crows possible on the 2 day chart. Okay, so you got that. All right, so okay, let's go down to the 3 day. I don't think the 3 day's closing. Is the 3 day closing? I don't know if the 3 day's closing or not. We're on a lot of support right here, though. Six hour, not helping me. 4 hour candles, not helping me. Support level 6,100 down there. All right. Okay. So, leave this on this here. I just want to pull off, see what we got over here. So, all right, so it looks like it'll bleed, bled, cross below the 128, got it. 12-hour inverted hammer. There's the 12-hour inverted hammer right there. So that did give us, that was bullish. So this got this inverted hammer. We did go back up. This was a bounce. So this is a pretty good bounce from there to there. We did touch, and then we did fall out. Daily hammer. Let's go take a look at this daily that we had. Okay, so this is a regular daily hammer. Yeah, didn't help. That would have been a good reversal candle. You see we did come up off it just a little bit, and then it just died. 4-hour spinning top we had. Let's go and see what that was about. There was a 4-hour spinning top right there. That's kind of still at the top of a trend, so that should have been bearish. What did I say? Did I say bullish? Yeah, because you got spinning top, hammer candle, hanging man, then another spinning top, then it fell out. So all should have been bearish. All right, so you got all that. That should have been a bearish call. The 4-hour spinning top. If it was at the bottom, it would have been good, but this is clearly at the top of a trend, and then it fell out. Break the line, break the 7367, and we'll go to 6800. Perfect call. It bounced exactly on our support right there. Looks like a dead cat bounce. Yep, that was perfect call. MACD says bullish, so let's go over to the MACD next, and scalping trade area only. Okay, so here's our news stuff. Okay, so let's put in here that if we did bounce, a bounce would be to 7180. So the 4-hour, where's the 4-hour reversal candle? Bounce possible to 7188. All right, so this would be your target for a bounce here, somewhere trying to get back up here. Now the problem is, your issue is it's a timing matter, right? And this is time sensitive. So this is time. Oh, 2S is not. So this is time sensitive right here. It's got to beat the bear crosses in less than 4 hours. Okay, so it's got to beat all these bear crosses right here, because in 4 hours you're going to get this death cross, you're going to get this death cross, you're going to get all these death crosses, all these bearish crosses are going to start piggy piling on top of it, and it's just not going to have a chance. Okay, so this is like our one. You better get your better get your butt back up there, and or it's going to be all hell breaking loose. Bring this over. What I have is at the daily chart. All right, I think I'll leave this on the 12-hour chart here. This must have been on the daily. Did I leave this? Was this on the daily? Yeah, it must have been on the daily. There we go. Alright. Okay, let me give me 1 second. I just want to kind of look at these other charts. All right. So we are deep right now into this bounce zone, right? And let me tell you what, this is deep. We're so deep right here. And the last two times we were this deep, I mean, we bounced pretty good. Now this, when we bounced off of this one right here, look at that insane bounce. Now I would consider this a bullish bounce right here, right? Because of the velocity. I mean, this made it way back up. Now here's the bad news, okay? If you look at this in accordance to where it came from, right? If you look at this and you say, okay, this thing fell out here, came down here, this bounced. Now, this would only be considered a purple bounce, right? This would have been considered a purple bounce up to here, right? Because it would have been lower than the higher high, right? So you would have come down, it would have bounced up, and it would have never been a bullish bounce. By definition, should go higher than the previous high. This one, when we came down this low, you see, so we here was the previous high. We beat that previous high. So this was a bullish bounce. This is actually this is actually a bounce. So this should be labeled purple. So I'm going to go back in here and I'm going to label this line purple. I'm going to label this bubble purple, and I'm going to label this bubble purple, okay? Because this was not a bullish bounce. This was simply a bounce, okay? Now right here, this was a bullish bounce, right? These green ones are bullish bounces, okay? Because they went over the previous higher high. So you see, here's the green, there's the green, it beat this higher high. There's the green, right here. Now this did not beat that higher high, but it was there. Now this one came up, and oh, sorry. So this one did not beat the higher high. This one did beat the previous higher high. So here would have been your high, bounce, made it up past the higher high. Okay. Then this one right here, there would have been your top. This came down and it bounced. So this made a new high right there. And then of course this made a new high. So we're now in a situation, or in a, we are now in an area in which we are super close to we're headed down here to a purple bounce. Okay, there's our, look, it hit my alarm. There goes my alarm. All right, so I'm actually going to set a new alarm right down here. Okay, so I now have a new alarm that's set down here. So if this makes it down here, I want my alarms to go off. I'm going to scoot this thing up a little bit. I want my alarms to go off so I can have a good idea, right, of what's going to happen right there. Okay, come on, go up. See, there we go. Now remember, this is a lagging indicator, so this thing can go all the way down to here, right? This can go all the way down to here, and then it can flip around on you, and that's how it'll make this pivot point. It won't make that pivot point sometimes just on a dime. It's not going to, sometimes it won't just stop on a dime. Sometimes it'll go down, and then it'll start to make it'll come down here, retract a little bit, and then start to make the pivot point. So you have to be careful playing the MACD. The MACD is a lot tricky. It's not just a little tricky. It's a lot tricky. Okay? So, why are you not, I thought I changed that purple. There we go. All right, so where is the bounce? White is bullish. Purple is just a bounce. Right? So we should all know that by now. go find our, where's our little, okay, there we go. Yep, yeah, all right. So purple is just a bounce. I'm just going to put a bounce. Okay. So to me, this is looking more like a bounce, right? That's what this is looking like. This is looking just like a bounce here is possible. Now, we've got to watch this very closely, because if we start spinning here and getting this bounce right here, then we'll already be prepared for a bigger bounce. You know what I'm saying? So we missed this. This is gone. All right, so there we are. We're at the bottom of this chart right here, okay? Let's go over here. Hold on a second. Jesus Lord. So let's go over here for 1 second. Actually, give me a second, everybody. I want to just... I want to make sure everybody can see this. Sorry, man. I know my charts are messy. I'm trying not to make them as messy. All right, we got a bunch of great members too over there. All, you know, it's great because all of our members now, we're like, everybody kind of, the members are learning. So as they're learning, they're like, hey, Chris, look out for this. Hey, look out for that. So it's great. And they're my extra set of eyes on everything, which is awesome. All right, so let's see here. This is too big. All right, so let's pull apart this chart right here. Okay, so on the 12-hour, this baby can go deep. Okay, let's see where we can go down here on the 12-hour. We're getting down here into some pretty uncharted territory. So look, last time you came down here, you are, I mean, we're deep on the 12-hour chart. Deep on the 12-hour chart. Okay. Let's see what we got. So we have a bounce here. We have a couple bounces here. Let's go see what these are about. Oh, there's another one. Let's go see what all these bounces are about here. All right. Yep. Purple bounce. Right here. Bounce. 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 Yep, all these are bounces. Okay, so in order to get a more bullish bounce, see, now we're going to call this, we're going to change this to a purple now. Okay. This thing came way down. All right, so here we go. So we're going to adjust all of this. We're going to move this white line down. We're going to add another line here. Okay. Boy, this thing just went super uber deep. This kind of did call the bottom there a little bit. Let's see here. Yeah, no. Where was that? No, so this is actually a brown line. So this is brown. So there's our brown. There's our brown line. Same thing, there's a brown line right there. So this is also a brown line. So remember, a brown line is kind of just a sideways motion with a dropout. So you got a brown line here also. Yeah, these are all purples. There we go. All right. I'm gonna probably leave this on the 12-hour. All right, so last night, listen, first of all, I would like to write a letter to my Elliott friends. Okay, that I am not an Elliott Wave person. Okay. I'm not an Elliott Wave person at all. I would just like to go back and say that I am not an Elliott Wave person. I'm clearly not an Elliott Wave person. I did draw an Elliott Wave on this. Okay, it could be completely wrong. Do not judge me on this Elliott Wave. Okay, so I'm gonna go. I'm gonna relabel this chart. I'm gonna reduce this. All right, pull this down to like a 16. I am not an Elliott Wave guy. Okay. Disregard my waves. Okay. So I'm just going to put this disclaimer out there. All right. So I'm just going to throw my disclaimer out there. All right. All right. All right. So yeah. Okay. So I had thought we would go a little bit higher here. The way I was counting this out was kind of as a third wave, maybe here, and this is kind of how I was counting this out. Sorry if I. So I did come up and hit my first target, and then it fell out. Hold on a second, everybody. Hold on 1 second, everyone. Okay, check. Go ahead.
Hey guys, can you hear me? Let's do a screen share.
Oh man. Yep. All right, hold on a second. I got the man here. Hey, try to do me a favor. Share your screen with me, will you? Share your screen with me.
Hold on, let me see what I have on my screen.
He's got to take off all of his. Hey, we got Jonas in the house joining us, man. Good.
On
Great
my
to have you,
tablet
buddy.
here.
He's got to get rid of his porn tabs.
Huh?
Midgets gone wild. He's got to get rid of his midgets gone wild tab. Damn, didn't know that was in there. Basically, when he gets a free notification for anything like a free TV or free porn, he automatically shorts the market. Okay, because he knows
How do
XVG.
I
He knows
switch?
XVG is going down. He knows XVG is going down. All right, so if you go see where it says leave call on our little thing, if you put yours up where my screen is, and then you go to the
Okay,
left and it
okay.
says more screen share options. See this little camera, and then you
Hold
can
on
see
here.
where it says more screen share options. I'm gonna try this
Um,
live.
I'm on my tablet, so I don't know if I'm seeing the same options.
Okay, here, watch. I'm gonna share my other screen. Give me 1 second, everybody. Let me see if we can get Jonas' screen up here. All right. Okay, so look at my screen.
Okay.
See this right here?
No, I don't have that
Oh,
because I'm
you're
on
on
the
your
tablet.
tablet. Got it. Okay.
So next time I'll do it through my desktop, and we can do it.
Got it. All right. We tried, everyone. We tried.
But I can see what's going on with you. Yeah, I just got a little caught up in your show. Trying to figure out if we're kind of find some sort of bounce around this area here. And really, the question is, like, I'll admit, I'm actually in a small position here because I just like this break of 7,000. It feels like we broke it really quickly, and I'm just playing a lot of the historic supports of our, especially our daily RSI, where I'm seeing it right back in an area here where I am expecting it at least to hold. Um, for some sort of bounce. And I kind of agree with you on your Elliott wave there. That where we're, it feels like if this is the third impulse wave down, that we're getting close to the end of it just based on where all the indicators are showing. We're not oversold that, you know, greatly on the daily, as well as much as we are on our 4 hour and kind of those lower charts there. And I'm just not sure if this flattening of the price is going to induce that next pop higher. Normally, when we see this kind of leveling after a major dump, it just becomes to kind of bear flag out, and then we take our next level down there. So I'm just waiting to see how this sideways action. Clearly, we're finding support, right? 6970 area to a hair under 7,000. And this is coinciding with a lot of kind of that last bastion of support of that break of 7,000 before we get down to a clear area of $6,800 that puts us right back to our neckline that we broke, several weeks ago in July that, allowed us to go all the way up to 8,500 there. So, I'm watching the bubbles you're putting in there, trying to see why haven't we found that bounce there right there that, corresponds with so many levels. It seems like a logical place to go. However, if we don't, there is kind of that next free fall area that unfortunately we may hit, and that would probably put us around a $6,500 Bitcoin price if the bottom fell out right there. I know a lot of people were looking in this area because of some of the fib levels it corresponded with. We're right in that kind of golden pocket, 61.8 or 618 to 786, but 786 can still bring us down to $6,600. So this could be a big range of several $100s to find that bottom support. You got to ask yourself, what will really induce that pop higher? How much of a bearish indicator reset do we need? We're putting in a triple bottom now on the 4-hour RSI. That's kind of rare. I've never really seen it do more than like a 2 bottom. So we're basically back to a triple bottom touch right there holding that lower historic support. So there's so much saying that this is that area where we should find that support. But because we're back here for a third time, it gives me a little pause that this is going to push us lower. And that could really mean a test of that. I don't want to say it, but like the 14 area on the 4-hour RSI, which is where we ended up last time.
Yeah, right here. There. Wow.
Yep.
Yeah, that can go deep. So here's my daily chart I've had. So this is one of the charts I've been sharing with everybody for a while. This kind of gives a historical pump and dump thing kind of area. And I do need to go over here and change this to a purple. I just did that on my other chart. It's purple. Sorry. But yeah, look at as you came down here. Look at the last time we came down here, right? Oh, this is white for sure. So here you go. This is the last couple times we came into this range. So you came in right in here. This kept falling. This just you came down and then just kept falling. Price structure kept falling. Came down here, tested the same exact level. Look right in here in this little area. Got a little bit of a bounce and just kept falling. You go back farther and you got to go way back. Yeah, you don't get any help going way back. Now, if you look on your MACD chart, right, down here below, this thing's got a long way to go on the daily. Long way to go on the daily right here. So this could get ugly real fast. Now, you guys know I like the 12-hour chart. So here's my 12-hour chart right here, right? Look, we have gone like uber deep. Right, we're nearing some of the lowest lows, and this thing can go lower. Right, this thing can definitely go deeper here. If you go all the way back, I mean, well, you got to go way back here, and to find it this deep. All right, let's see if we can go back a little farther. No, I mean, you can. This thing can't go deeper yet. You know, you can still get a lot more action. And let's take a look at what happened last time we came down here. Last time we came down here was right here. Right? No, right there. There it is, right there. So we're going to throw a horizontal line, a vertical line right here on this sucker. And there it is. And look at the price action back then. Seriously, I was looking at some of these old price actions last night. I mean, this thing just goes. It's so crazy how far back this goes. All right, so you did get a huge white bounce off that area, right? You did get a massive white bounce off of this bottom right here. Okay, so this would be now, but once again, like I was just saying earlier, this is a purple bounce. Right? You go down this deep, this becomes purple because it did not break the previous higher high. So this was a straight down and then it bounced. Now it did have, this almost would be considered a brown line because it bounced, moved sideways, and then fell out again. Right? So I will leave that brown. I will also turn that bubble brown. And that's, and the reason why it's brown, it's kind of like a toilet bowl. And then just flushes down like a turd. Just flushes slowly circles the bowl and then just flushes down like a turd. Let's take a look over here. Last time we did go this deep. Now this, all right, so right there was a bullish run. So this is definitely bullish because this bounced out and then did eventually create a higher high. All right, so this is, you know, your there you go. So we're going to drop that there. And there we go. And there we go. All right. Let's scoot across here. Boy, and that's all you got.
Yeah.
So you got the toilet bowl action or you got a white bubble. All right. That's really what you got here. And we're going to have to really be careful in here because, man, I think that, you know, looking at this, this all comes back to one simple thing for me, right? And it is that 50-day weekly crossover, the 30-50 weekly crossover that has me just miffed right now, to say the
Mm.
least. Okay, that massive death cross we have that's camping over us right now. I mean, I have to say, guys, that is my biggest concern. I could see this going all the way down to this brown line here, taking us all the way down to the brown line, the toilet bowl line, and then just giving us a bump back up, and then dropping out with the toilet bowl all the way down here. So we've got to really just be aware of how far this thing can keep going.
Yeah, you have to ask yourself if you're loading up right now, if you're trying to find those value prices now for Bitcoin. I mean, it took us what, 10 days, 2 weeks to get from 8,500 down to sub 7,000. So if you like Bitcoin at 7,400, you should be feeling, oh, this is a great value price for that. Have to bear in mind about how much lower we can go. And we've been talking about these areas here. I'm still feeling confident a little bit in this price area here, just because of where we're hitting on the fibs, and also really kind of how fast we came down here. This is a pretty quick. Once we were rejected from our second attempt at around 8,300 to kind of put in that last wave, right? That was supposed to be what was supposed to bring us to $8,800, $9,000. Once that was a confirmed rejection, basically the end of the month of July, this drop has been brutal, and it's funny because we've been watching to see if the shorts and the longs, if we could tell if there was any kind of really big change, and the shorts kept on capitulating because they just got burned so much into July. So it's now their time to shine when we're coming into August, when if you're shorting now, you actually are beginning to be rewarded. Again, this is a tricky area here because nothing's over leveraged too much, though. I don't feel like the longs are kind of overbought. I don't feel the shorts are kind of overbought. So this is all based on price action. And also there was some consensus that we there's some consensus that we were going to find this kind of push to move higher here, and we're just not really seeing that volume come in yet to kind of determine that that's actually the case. I want to hold here. And I want to retest the $7,200-$7,300 area there. That also area corresponds with my area of where I had our previous bear channel. That once we broke out of that, I looked for that kind of a reset there, as well as we had a descending wedge that we broke out of, and a reset of that also puts us right around $7,150 to $7,200. So there's still a lot in play that says we will retest some lower 7,000 levels again. The question is, what will induce that pop higher here? I do like that after this, the previous 4-hour candle, there was kind of a indecision doji, but I like the tight price action. Once again, into this candle here, we're seeing tight price action. We have 3 more hours left, though, in this 4-hour candle. And just the daily redness of this candle, it's pretty brutal, but we basically have a little wick on the bottom, a little wick on top. Wouldn't be surprised if we kind of end the day looking somewhat like this candle here on the daily, just to kind of say, all right, it's a really bad red candle, but at least we didn't close at the nut bottom of it. Maybe there's a little bullish momentum we can build on from this. But, we're on a red 5 on the daily. This could suggest we have several more days of this kind of follow through. However, we do like to see, I think as you said before, you like to see that reversal on a 6, start to happen there. So let's get through this day. We've all confirmed this is a really bad candle here. It basically blew through all of our previous supports. And now if you go back in history, your next kind of support from a daily candle side, because we blew through, remember when we went up bullishly in 2 days, we went from 6,300 all the way up to 7,300. That only took 2 days to rise 1,000 points there. So our next bottom line of support, if we break through this previous really good candle there, that's going to put us right around $6,700. So there could be a couple more $100 left in this decline before we see a pop higher. But I do expect to play around with that 7,000 level again once we do
You
find
don't
that
feel
pop
good? Do you want some
and that
candy?
support. We're just not seeing it yet. And the
Okay.
volume really
Get
isn't
some candy out
suggesting
of the
that we
bag. I'll
will.
bring Dad one.
Looks like more we just kind of keep this area, hold it
M&Ms if you
steady,
can,
and
or
then
orange bag.
decide if
Just
we
bring
want
me
to
two
move
of them
from
to
there.
pick
And
from.
tomorrow being the last day of the week, it's going to be interesting to see how we can close this weekly candle because it's super bearish. We're basically engulfed the previous week. We're kind of halfway through the other week there, and it shows we could go down more because we don't even hit the tops of the previous weeks back in the early part of July yet. Those basically find a support kind of around $6,800 to $6,775. So that suggests potentially another $100 or so. But if you're scooping up at this area here, you're still in a zone, at least from a fib level standpoint, where I feel there's a chance for some sort of move. We're still bullish on the stochastics on the weekly. We're still finding, we're under 50 in that area there on the weekly, which we don't like to be at on the RSI. But the daily is still shown that it just came down so quickly. I want to find support right in the historic area. 41 has been such a strong support once we're able to break bullish on that daily RSI. I would be so surprised if it broke really harshly. And of course, if it breaks, that basically means that the 41 level could be some strong resistance. And we don't want to see that. We want to see the 41 RSI level hold its support as it had the previous time. And especially, I like the fact that we had seen it hit as resistance. So once it was resistance, tested as support, it should be tested as support and held at least one more time for one more bounce before it can be tested again and broken for that lower 6,000s capitulation. So I think we're kind of in an area of a wait and see, where if you're in a long, and you're willing to kind of take a little bit more of a bleed to kind of dollar cost in, or even if you're still layering some buying here, I think there's a possibility for, that fourth wave, because we're basically agreeing that we're in a wave 3 down here. So if you basically want to play that fourth wave up, this is that area where you should be scooping up towards the end of this third wave down of this bearish 5-wave Elliott wave. We kind of agree that we're in now.
I am enjoying some candy right here while I'm enjoying the Chone Man's amazing TA. And all right, look it. So I called this test of this area on July 31st, right? This has almost been 4 days. We did come down and test it, so we're here just like the Chone says. You can see historically when we get down this area, we do get a bounce. And like I say, now this is the scary part, right? This is the scary part here. You guys see we tested here, we came up, we did the Batman, we dropped back down here, right? I would like to see, I'm not expecting, but I would like to see, because we're on my other chart right over here, right? We show a lot of support right here. We got a lot of heavy support in here. And I would like to see a repop up here. Now, my issue is historically, every time you find a bottom, you find a top, you find that same bottom. Okay? And that hope happens over and over and over again. And we all need to be aware of that. And you like to find that second bottom, top, bottom, bottom, top, bottom. It's a repetitive pattern, right? Bottom, and now crazy, but you did find the bottom again. So on this daily, I always like to look for a good reversal on the bottom here. Like I'm looking, if you want to find me a good reversal, find me down here. People loading bags here for a bullish movement is risky. Okay, I would just like it on a long scalp. Yes, I think on a long scalp, I'm sorry, on a scalping play with some whatever you're gonna pick up, I think you're okay. But I would like to once again go back and say that you are really, really grabbing the tiger by the tail here if you think you are going to, hold on, this is what I need. You are really trying to grab the tiger by the tail If you, oh, I don't know what this chart. Hold on, Tyler. Yeah, this is what I want. If you think you are going to, if you are betting against this death cross, okay, like people who are betting against this death cross right now, I'm warning you. This is my warning. Do not bet against the death cross. Chad, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, these have been big predictors of either a bullish move up or a bearish move down. And this is a major one that you pointed out that is kind of inevitably about to happen. So you're kind of fighting against the current if you want to play this long. So that's kind of what you have to weigh as a trader. You have a lot of indicators pointing in some directions. You have other indicators pointing against those, and you're looking at kind of a price action that's fine, kind of this stabilizing through the hours, but you just know there's that next big move that's about to happen. If the market is not convinced that sub 7,000 is really where it's kind of bottom here, it can go lower. Some of the issues we've had through the past few days, some of the FUD combined with some of the positive news, unfortunately hasn't played through the price of Bitcoin. There was some good news towards the end of this week. It felt like, okay, these are bullish things that can make the use case of Bitcoin and the use of it through Fortune 500 companies, doing things with the blockchain as well. These are all positive steps, and yet we didn't really see that follow through with Bitcoin. And in terms of how it's affecting the alts, I think almost at this point, each alt is kind of into itself right now. Some charts look a lot better than others. Then you have to realize with the alts is, you have some BTC pairs that are down 2-3%, while they're that are up 2 or 3%, while the USD pairs are down 2 or 3%. So we're seeing some bullish divergence in some of the alts, even though the USD price continues to decline, just because the value of Bitcoin continues to decline. So you got to factor that in. If you're scooping up some alts you feel out of value here, you can still be finding value and making a bullish gain, even though the overall USD of that valued alt is less if Bitcoin still goes lower. And as you pointed out, the death crosses is an example of an uphill swim. Just the fact that we weren't able to hold certain MAs, the fact that we blew through the 200 MA on the 4 hour, like it was nothing. That was a little scary. I was looking at to hold at least for a little bit. So now I find that as resistance, and that's a hair over 71.50 right now. So, what was once support is now resistance, and what could be future support, unfortunately, is a lot lower than where we are currently. So that's kind of where the price is really trapped right now. You throw in this bear cross, and I mean, those lower areas, those brown areas, what you were talking about, could definitely be in play.
Yeah, there's definitely, you can see there's, here's definitely an ugly bottom section right here.
Mm.
Dude, I just want you to know that while we're on live stream, my daughter is completely greasing me. Okay, it's like the small vampire mafia over here. All right, she's like, Dad, I know you're doing your show, but give me things. If you guys have small children out there, just remember they're as dangerous as Bitcoin. Yeah, in fact, I think you can lose more on them, right? So, and when I look at this, I do look at, the next really heavy support level is going to be way down here. Now, we are on a green 3 if you're using your TD indicators over here on the daily. I'm sorry, on the weekly, there's the weekly. You're only on a green 3. On the daily, you're on just started a brand new. So, all right, what do I always say? Watch for these sixes. It flips on the sixes, right? You'd like to see your price action turn on the sixes, and there you go. You had it once again. This is a pattern as it plays out. Part of the VAMP training package teaches you this. Here's your 6, falls out. Now we started a brand new 1. So we've got a brand new red 1 going to be starting on the On the 3-day chart, look at on the 2-day we came up to an 8. It started a brand new. We're on a brand new 2, trading down. Caught on the 30 MA right there. I telling you, we got room to go. I want to see a bounce, but we've got room to go here. Let's go down to our daily. All right, so we are on a 5. We're on a red 5, right? Still trapped right here. Still trapped, and let's see how this can play out over the next day. I'd like to see this candle closing is going to be critical. So if we close out with a candle that looks like this, it doesn't give me a lot of hope for a reversal. I'd like to see this pull back up here over the next couple hours we have right here. Just pull back up a little bit and give me at least a little hope for my bounce off our support area, right?
Yeah, I mean, we concluded it's a very bad candle. It looks very bad. So the more we can put that lower wick, the more we can make it come up a little bit. Then maybe tomorrow we can retest and confirm the low of 79.50. Sorry, 69.50 for maybe a little tweezer bottom. You know, why not? But right now, there's nothing bullish about this red candle, even with the very small wick on the bottom. I want to close over 7,000, right? But really, I want to close over 71.50. You know,
Yeah.
that's kind of where I want to be.
Yeah. So, with that red candle we've got now, your time is ticking right now. The clock is ticking on all these bear crosses. We're down to 3 hours and 30 minutes. I was hoping to see something like this, but I once again, the clock is ticking on this kind of an action right here. Let's see how it goes. The 12 hour. So remember, look at this 12 hour. The 12 hour came down as a red 9, and then it bled out like I called it. It is possible. See, look at this thing. So here you go. You see another bleeding red 9 that did get a bounce back up. Now, this bounce back up came all the way back up, and it definitely tried to break the higher highs of where the 9 was, but then it fell right back out. And this is what I think is definitely a possibility to happen here again. I think it's the same thing. You see where our levels are. We have a ton of resistance up here. The only difference between this red 9 bleeding out and this red 9 bleeding out is the fact that we have a death cross that is coming on the weekly, and that is what scares the living bejesus out of me, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, see, if you look at here, this can pop back up here really quick and flip us to a green 1, which would then start the count all the way back over again. Okay, so you got 48 hours in which this can play back up, right? And so you got 48 hour, 50 hours, 50 hours, 50 and a half hours. I think. What is it? What are we? Got to be close, right? So you've got like 50 plus hours, right? So let's title this. So you got 50 plus hours for this to flip to a green 1. Okay, I would also like to say that even with the death cross, right? Even with the death cross, and we're going to bring this up to there, right there, 7,200, right up there. Even with the death cross pending, the death cross still has a delay on it, right? So your death cross still has a delay on it. That could definitely, remember, if you go back and you look at these death crosses, when they do cross, sometimes there is a delay. Right, this one didn't delay, right? So you hit this here, and then this just completely crap the bed. Here's another cross, golden cross, just nope, instantaneous. Hit here. Okay, so here's a good example, right? So here was the death cross. Now, you did get this huge dump out of this death cross, so it did react right away. It did bounce back up, but then it continued to fall out, and you never were in risk of you would have got stomped out of this trade. Actually, if you would have played this death cross, you would have got stomped out of this trade. I would have put my stop loss up here on this particular trade. If I was shorting, I would have put my stop loss way up here. You can see where your line was, your cheat sheet line was. So I would have gone up here where the cross happened, put my, it would have been a very loosey-goosey, simply because I have faith in these crosses. Same thing here. If I would have played this cross, my stop loss would have been at 9K. I would have been in this trade at 8,800. My stop loss would have been at 9K. This thing would have fell out, and this would have been a massively profitable. I was in this trade. You guys can go back in the history of my Twitter. You'll see I made probably about 2 BTC on this trade right here, all the way from top to bottom. And go ahead.
Just another thing there that just kind of caught my eye is think about the visual, what we're looking at here, how wide your two EMAs are separated. And if you look back in history, once they get to about that width, that's an extreme, basically outside the zone of the standard deviation. And they're very comparable in terms of when you're seeing that extreme width and that separation of your MAs, there's a turnaround about to happen. And for the third time, you can clearly see when you're that spread out, you're way overbought in that time frame. And it kind of correct. And that's what we're doing.
Yeah, yep. And we've got to be warned that I know this is a crappy place. Now, sideways movement can be expected. I had a call on ETC. Let's see what ETC did. Oh, okay. Target 1 on a break was there. I had target 2, came down here, landed perfect into my cheat sheet area. I was expecting some sideways movement, also possible. Not really the sideways movement, more of just a dump. I can't even take credit for that call. I couldn't lose on this. I had every single way picked. But, yeah, this is tough. Well, you did have targets. If it did start to break, at least you knew where it was going to break. Now, if I was playing ETC here, I would have... This would have been a tough trade. I wouldn't have had a good setup for this trade right here. Now, you did make a rising wedge, and then it fell out. It's making another rising wedge, and it could fall out again. Now, if you're playing ETC right now on your 4-hour, you did get 1-2 crosses. Your top side of all your resistance is a 16.7. On the 6-hour over here, whoa! Look at this, Cheds. You see that?
Yeah. What is that? That happened quickly. What's the gap about? You're on Bitfinex?
Yeah, Bitfinex. Well, were they out?
Oh,
Was doing that on a break?
No, this was yesterday, right? That pump. This was the 6-hour.
I don't know, but look at where
Yeah,
it's at. It's really weird.
This was the there was the Coinbase announcement. So this was the shoot up.
Got it. Okay.
Price.
Got it. It was
it was a quick. That was a quick pop because of a news event, and
wow.
It's funny. There's two things I see here. I see ETC BTC is up almost 4%, but ETC USD is down 2%. So again, we're seeing the bullish divergence in the BTC pairing with the declining USD price. Now, this Coinbase news is big because they basically set up that sometime in the next 2 weeks, you can start to transfer your ETC from your exterior wallets to Coinbase Pro for an eventual market. They're going to have there probably by the end of the month. So these continuous little ETC news things are going to keep this coin in play, I think, over the next several weeks. And this is kind of a dry run, I feel, for what could potentially play out with Lumen and ADA and Zcash and ZRX and BAT if they're added to Coinbase as they have been so advertised. So I've been watching ETC as kind of that primer where the Coinbase news, it popped really good, right? We were basically down around $13. We popped all the way to
almost 17.
25. That was back on our first pop, on our first
Oh, oh,
mention of it.
oh,
But then,
oh, got
yeah,
it. Yeah.
back in May, and that was the thing there. That was like, oh, here it goes, and then we just gave it all back. We just gave it all back. So
Woo.
if you loaded then, you kind of lost. And now, are you playing the actual event, which has just been advertised to? The way that Coinbase has structured this is going to play out with news briefs through the rest of the month. So the next Coinbase tweet that talks about ETC and how they're closer to the implementation of blah, 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 that's kind of push a little more money into this market here. This coin is definitely in play because of the money flow. And if we can find a retrace from yesterday's pop to a fairly conservative, 0.5 pullback or a 618 pullback, I could definitely see a bullish push for that next wave higher. I have it hitting on the USD. I have it hitting just kind of a channel resistance it's been bashing against since 718, 719. So it's kind of still hitting that upper wall of my channel. If it breaks through basically $17, I'd be looking for a test of $20, which is kind of where the MA200 is. That's kind of where I would be shooting for. And I would coincide that on a timing of a very positive event involving Coinbase and probably something. I mean, if they say in 2 weeks, hey guys, you can start to send your ETC to your Coinbase wallets, that's going to be an event, and that will be something that will drive this market. But as you can see, if Bitcoin keeps falling, then the trade becomes kind of like lessened because even though you're moving up on your BTC pairing, you're still losing from a dollar value standpoint if Bitcoin continues to decline. So you want a stable Bitcoin to kind of help out these alts to kind of build that foundation. So it's kind of a catch-22 now, where we're seeing continued bullish divergence in a bunch of alts, but we're seeing a declining USD price because Bitcoin is declining as well.
Got it. So I'm just going to save this chart right here. Because, yeah, this thing is just tanking.
And, Bitcoin right now, we're trying to put up a fight. I said I want to close above 7,000. I really want to close above 7,150. The volume is light. I feel we probably have reached the low of the day. We have 2.5 hours left, for that to play out. And then tomorrow, I think I'll be looking more at the weekly chart tomorrow and really see how that finishes up. I think because of how bad this daily chart is, I think tomorrow with just a small price action range would be kind of my best hope, and not another super big dumping red candle. And I feel that would be just really, that would put us into our super oversold areas. But maybe we need that. Maybe that's just what we need to get that slingshot V bottom bounce out of whatever this 4 wave could be. And then you have to talk about a whole new scenario, that if we are able to bounce from this area here, is this a long, or are you taking your profits as you start to kind of retest a lot of those supports that failed to hold the price, that are now very strong resistance areas? 7,150, 7,250, 7,300. These are what held us up, and now they're going to hold us down.
Yep. All right, let's go over and take a look at LTC. I did make some pretty wicked calls on LTC last night. Go for it, Cheds.
Jonas.
Sorry, buddy. Sorry. Go.
It's all good. So listen, I've been looking at the same thing, a little bullish divergence in the bleed out of Litecoin to Bitcoin. It's been subtler, but the fact that Litecoin is still hanging around in the 70s, where if it was continuing its bearishness, it should definitely be in the 60s by now. So it is holding that area. But once again, for like a fourth time, we're hitting that $72, $73 zone in Litecoin. I hate hitting supports for a fourth time. If we don't bounce on that third time, the fourth time, I just can't see it holding again.
Yeah.
We've had so many chances to load up any longs if you feel comfortable at 73. And right now we're back there, and we're kind of breaking through it now. We're breaking through it. So even though we're seeing a little bit of bullishness on the LTC BTC ratio, We're down 5% on the USD thing here, and we're breaking through right there again. I mean, again, if you start seeing like 71, I don't see how that holds again. I think we're going into the 60s, and the 60s kind of opens up a lot of new doors here as to really how far, how low we can go. I put a tweet up a couple days ago, basically showing the VPVR index that basically shows all the money, or most of the money, really came into Litecoin between $35 and $50. And I just feel that that's kind of eventually where we potentially be heading. But that only corresponds with a Bitcoin failure to hold, let's say, $6,000 again. Then we're talking about Bitcoin in the 5,000s can definitely be a Litecoin in the, at least testing that $50 range there. And, for me specifically, I mean, I remember buying Litecoin kind of in that area, before it made its parabolic move higher. I think a lot of people have a lot of history in that area, maybe even first discovered Litecoin between 35 and $50. So that's our major historic support. We were there for almost half a year back in 2017 before we shot higher here. And along the way, I think people have been very surprised about how low Litecoin could truly go, not really understanding about the parabolic unwind and how Litecoin's move was only second to really Ethereum's move, which had a higher percentage parabolic move. So if you think Litecoin's decline is bad and can get worse, I think this also has a lot to say about Ethereum and how I expect Ethereum to go much lower than it is now as it kind of unwinds, just because it had the last end. It hit its $1,400 after Litecoin and of course after Bitcoin there. So once this $71, $72 level fails to hold, I just see this is going to open up all new doors to get down there. But the thing is that we're not going to see this precipitous drop in price. We had seen so much more volatility when there was over 150 bucks, over 200 bucks. I think we're down in an area here where, from a value standpoint, people are kind of start to buy it and play it, flip it and hold it. Every dollar it kind of moves down. So I don't see it crashing. I see more of just a continued bleed. But again, all that really has to do with what happens with Bitcoin. If Bitcoin does have a bullish pop, Litecoin will come with it. If Bitcoin goes bearish, Litecoin will follow.
Yeah, I'm taking a look here, just running down the charts here, looking for support levels. Not seeing it. Got it. So this is kind of what I see. I'm just going to kind of run through 6 hour here. Let me see if I got anything on my 6 hour chart. All right, so there's the 6 hour bear cross. 4, 6 hour cross. That was the 50 and the 100. Oh, not the breed cross. We need the bear cross. All right, there we go. And 4 hour. Let's see what we got on our 4 hour. You got a 4 hour bear cross coming, and 4 hour bear cross between the 100 and 2. I don't like to play that cross. I think those are weaker. Yeah. Okay, so let's take a look at a couple things here. We did break the lowest low. So we have a new low that has been put in. Okay, and this is a new low on an opening candle. So on the opening 4 hour candle, we have opened lower than we have ever opened on Litecoin for this entire year. This is extremely bearish. You can no longer count this as an up wave. Once again, I always say Litecoin leads the way for Bitcoin. As we go down here in the 12 hour, so I'm going to pull this 12 hour up. So you take a look at this, dig into this chart right here. You see, look at this. You had the 9, it flipped to a 1, right? It flipped to a green 1. It now started a brand new countdown.
Mm.
right? And if this is leading Bitcoin right now, this is definitely leading Bitcoin in a bad direction, right? We're starting a brand new. Now, they go to the daily, and we're on a red 8, okay? So we
Mm.
never got the turnaround on our 6. We got our red 8. We did come right down, tapped right off of my targets, bounced right off my targets perfectly there. So there was my target right there, my next target, bounced it perfectly. And now this is really ugly because in a few hours you're going to get a death cross on your 12 hour. There it is. You're going to get
Mm.
that 3050 death cross on the 12 hour. Not looking good at all, right? Just not looking good. Let's go over to the 2-day candle. It is spinning topish, which is good. You know what I'm saying? Spinning topish is a good looking reversal candle. Let's see how this closes out. 3-day, a horrible candle, and a weekly, just absolute. Look at, you got the 9, you flipped on a weekly back up to a brand new 1 and a 2. You have a brand new 1 started on your weekly. It is now closed lower for this for 2018. You have a new weekly low, right? And this is a body low. This is not a wick low. This is a new body low. This is a ugly, ugly, ugly candle, right? And there you see what my targets are for my eventual targets. I would like to see Litecoin down to $50, $44, which is possible. We're going to get that big bear cross. Look, at the bear cross here on Litecoin is not happening for a while. You've got at least 2 weeks till the bear cross happens on Litecoin. I do want to watch this because this is going to affect how I play out the Litecoin one. I want to see how close this gets. I'm sorry, this is going to affect my Bitcoin call because I want to see how close this actually gets when our Bitcoin one crosses. So Bitcoin's going to cross first. Litecoin's going to cross second. So to me, what that says is you're kind of going to get bonked over the head with a spoon or a paddle like your mom did. You know, she punished you when you were a child, right? You were bad. But then the belt is going to come from Litecoin the following week. So this is like, Bitcoin's crossover let's go over here and find Bitcoin's weekly. So, all right, there's Bitcoin's weekly. So the way I look at this is your mom spanking you and paddling you for being bad, right? And this is your dad breaking out the belt. Okay, this is what this is the only way I can describe this. This might not be bad, and we might get some sideways action in here, but this will be the death throes, and you're
Mm.
two weeks out on this. So you're gonna close this, and it'll be really close, and then the following week it'll be closed for sure, or it'll cross over, and that's when the real pain will happen. Let's see how. So if you go back here, you have to count candles back. You have to count however many candles back. It's like 30 candles. So if this is our next candle right here that's falling off, and we got to see where these, and it's based on the candle closes. We're going to see how far this will go up or go down, these two moving averages. So we're going to see. Now remember, this moving average is based on this movement back here. So when you come back here 50 days, this average, if we're getting into this right here, it's just going to shoot through the moon. I don't know. Wait, let's try to count this real quick. Jonas, you mind if I count this?
Go for it.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, so it's right in here, right here. And I probably could have done this a lot smarter. I probably could have done this. I probably could have done, but it would have been messy. All right. Where is... Hold on, how do we get... Oh, shoot, this is weeks. Yeah, so I got to go back weeks. All right, so there we go. So this is our last weekly candle all the way back over here. All right, Jonas, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, this is just more of the same of a continuation of a bearishness where even though, I mean, it's funny, I've always thought of Litecoin as one of the majors just because it's in the top 10 and it's one of the four that's available currently on Coinbase. So I've always had a, kind of a special place for it. But you have to think about it as just another alt, you know, and any kind of specific Litecoin news, LitePay, anything that Charlie Lee was trying to be involved in that was supposed to make Litecoin propel it from a real use case. A lot of that has fallen through. A lot of those promises have fallen through. And now Litecoin looks like just another alt unwinding from its parabolic move that took it literally from, I mean, remember, this was like $4. Litecoin was $4. It went from $4 to $40 within weeks, went from 40 to 90 within weeks, went from 90 back to 30 within a month or so, then from 30 back to 90, back to 400. So you have to understand and have a clearer understanding of really how low this can go. I don't see anything bullish about Litecoin, and I think it's going to where inevitably it began, which is somewhere between $35 and $50. Now, a lot of that's going to coincide with Bitcoin's big moves here. So let's play out two scenarios with Bitcoin. If Bitcoin breaks bearish, and I mean bearish, like we're unable to hold the 6,000s. We are not able to hold our previous lows of 5,700, and we start talking about that $5,000 range. Litecoin is going to be somewhere in the $50 range, somewhere in that realm. And then that's that question about Bitcoin's really big bounce. We're all hoping if you get down there, can that correspond with Litecoin's potential bottoming area there? I don't think so. I think we're in for a prolonged period of a deflating Litecoin, probably finding some sort of a range of price for an extended period of time while a new base of support can be built up and a new value, at least what the market would consider a value price of Litecoin, can be folded in. I have friends that have held Litecoin from $100 to $400 to where they are now, and they're just bumfuzzled as to how this could have possibly happened. When you have to realize a lot of that price action in Litecoin from $100 to $400 literally happened over the course of like, I don't know, 7 days, so it just threw off the entire chart with that parabola, and where we should actually be if Litecoin was a slowly appreciating tradable asset. It should kind of be somewhere in the 50, low $60 range if kind of none of that parabolic move had ever happened, probably even a little bit lower. And then the question is, you have to ask yourself, we're going to see several alts over the next few months basically go to zero, which basically means they're just delisted from several exchanges. We see that. We see them delisted. We see new alts come online, okay? And the money is going to continue to flow into some of those newest, latest, and greatest, taking some of that money out of the alts that have been there for this time. So what we're seeing here with this quadruple test of, let's say, $72 is not giving me a lot of encouragement. And we're almost starting to see the beginning of that fan out effect on the EMAs when the price just drops and all the EMAs that were kind of clustered together are just fanning out in a very bearish way, making each one another strong resistance level if Litecoin wants to test those higher.
Yeah. Just Litecoin just taking a bath right now. So let's I would like to, boy, I don't have any good, I don't have anything nice to say about Litecoin right now.
Hmm.
I just don't. Let's take this down to the 12-hour. I think I'll leave this up as a 12-hour chart. So all right, there we go. So there's our 12-hour chart, and there we are. All right. Okay, so I'm just gonna leave this here. I don't know what to say. I mean, we just started a brand new red one. I'm not bullish on this at all. I I Man, I don't know, man. I'm just gonna kind of move down a little resistance level to here. You still do have some resistance right there. Now, as you guys see, I have had this double top target. My double top target has been down here lower. I would like to see a bounce, but I'm not getting any warm and fuzzies out of anything here at all. I mean, let's go over here. I just want to peek at the daily, see if I find anything that can help me out. Move that down. 2-day, nope. 3-day, nope. There's just no help here for me. There it is. All right, so here is my resistance. I've got two separate resistances for a bounce here. Got one right there, one right there. So I'm going to scoot this up, narrow this up here. All right, and there's that. And then let's go down to the 4 hour, see what we got in the 4 hour, same thing. Okay, so we're looking good. So if we did, and this looks more like a rising wedge right now to me than anything. Not really feeling that. So if we did get a bounce, we would look to be coming back up here. So we're going to remove this. If this did get a bounce here, we would still be, here's your, come here. I would be looking at something like this possibly. So I'd be looking for something like this on Litecoin. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, 67, 68. You have to think that 70 will be a psychological hold point. I think people will be probably have some buys lined up 68 to 67. I think whenever you break a major area of support, you always find that kind of snapback. So a quick dip below 70 should get bought up and pop back to 72, 73, maybe, because we've seen that before. The thing is, it's like there's less room for movement here. At a higher Litecoin price, we would see more percent volatility. It's hard to see a $10 price movement in a day on Litecoin now, just because that would be a much higher percentage move. So it's almost we're now talking about a few bucks here, a few bucks here. If you scoop up some 67, 68s, are you just planning to get out if you can touch 72, 73? It'd be hard to kind of feel you want to take a long and try and get back to $80. I almost feel like $80, especially $90, just feels really insurmountable at this level. And the longer we stay bearish, the more those MAs, those EMAs, those resistances are kind of built and drop. And any kind of a bullish momentum that we had is going to continue to backfire on us as those bear crosses begin to play out.
Yeah, I want to pull up my weekly here and see where my historical weekly is. $71 is my historical weekly right there. So, we're up. Let's see, we came down and tapped that one right there perfectly. Next one is 71.48. Below that is $66. So we are in a historical, so we are right here in a little weekly historical zone. But the strongest is going to be $71.57 to break. So I'm going to go back over. Let's go 71.57. So, excuse me. Pull this back 12 hours. I'm going to add that to my chart.
And just interesting enough, I use the MA 100, and right now on the weekly, MA 100 is literally right where Litecoin has found support, like right at around 72.30, right there.
It's on the daily?
On the weekly,
Weekly, got
the
it.
weekly,
Okay.
yeah, the weekly MA 100. I just went to the weekly and I just saw that that's currently why Litecoin is holding right here.
Boy, mine doesn't. I don't have the 100 there. Where is my 100? Where is my 100?
Oh, I'm on which exchange are you on?
Bitstamp.
Oh, that's why.
Huh. Yeah, I don't have 100. Nope. Hello.
Bit.
It's really weird there's no 100. Why isn't there 100 here? So there should totally be 100 here. It's really weird. You know what? I should be on Phoenix probably. I bet it's on Phoenix. What
Yeah,
are you on,
you're right.
Phoenix?
I don't see it on Bitstamp. I was on Coinbase. I saw it on Coinbase. You're right. I don't see it on Bitstamp. That's weird.
Yeah.
But it is on Coinbase. And it is on Bitfinex too. Yeah, it's there.
Got it. Okay. So we're on support right now. Yep. Great. Perfect. Gotta love my
You know?
charts.
And then the weekly 200
Damn you.
is all the way to 38.
At $38. All right.
Yeah.
Damn you, Phoenix. Stamp. Damn you, Bitstamp. All right. So let's get this up here. I want to get rid of this.
And what's kind of interesting too is like this MA, now that it's holding, I mean, that's good, but it's just like kind of that last like string holding the major rope, up, I feel. But because we just hit it like right on the T there, again, I wouldn't be surprised if we can kind of linger here just a little longer. Just because normally on the first touch of, especially on the weekly, I would assume that'd be at least a decent amount of initial support.
Yeah. All right. So looking for a baby bounce. And I'm going to actually hold on. I want to have one more thing. 71.58. It's still right here. 71.58. So there, and then we landed on the support for the other weekly. So these are our 2 weekly supports. All right, so these are weekly supports. Historical weekly support. I'm going to make this light blue. I'll make these light blue. And breaking these will be there we go. There we go. All right, so there's our weekly. These are our 2 weekly historical supports. If these break, then we would definitely look to test for our lower support. So we landed right on our weekly historical support, bounced right off of it, also bounced off the 100 MA. So, I would look for a bounce right here. Let's see if we get a little bit better bounce. Let's see if we can come up a little bit. Problem is this is a red one that just started here, and you've got all these death crosses right there, so it's not looking good. So let's just... All right.
And also, isn't there, and again, it keeps on changing, but is there still an August 10th ETF meeting conference?
Still August 10th, yes. Yep. All right.
So that will come into play in next week's news cycle.
Yep.
Especially on CNBC, and that's going to be interesting.
They just had a brand new CNBC.
Oh yeah.
Just had it.
Well, the company is called
So that's kind of yeah, biggest Bitcoin news of the year. Yeah, there it is. So again, this could play both ways, the run up and then the announcement. Now the announcement's probably going to be something like we've decided to push this into, the end of the year, which we get a lot. I'd be shocked.
Let's listen to this.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, this is
is huge news that I think the market is completely underappreciating. So let's talk about why this is the biggest news of the year for Bitcoin. Right here, it paves the way for an ETF. Last week I stood up here and said, you know what? I don't think the ETF is going to get approved. And guess what? Winklevoss ETF got rejected. Why? Because there wasn't a U.S. regulated exchange and there wasn't U.S. regulated custody. That's what this does. They're now going to have a U.S. regulated exchange trading Bitcoin. They have a licensed warehouse, which is how commodities are stored. That's going to make it a lot easier for an ETF to come through. It's even better than Bitcoin futures. That's the second thing that I think people are missing. Problem with Bitcoin futures, very limited set of people that can trade it, and a lot of people use it for hedging. But they're talking about getting this into your 401k. They're talking about you're in your Schwab or Fidelity
that's
or
dangerous.
Ameritrade account. You're going to be able to buy a Bitcoin ETF, a Bitcoin mutual fund. It expands the universe. So my conclusion here is the crypto market is completely missing this. Perhaps the market in general is missing this. This is very, very big news. So let's take a look at the charts, see where we are on Bitcoin. We've had this huge, painful bear market. Look at this, though. We've had a little pop here. Probably that was the move on the anticipation of an ETF, which didn't happen, and now we've retraced. So if you're looking for an entry point in Bitcoin, this might just be the place. Hey, now, let's look. There's one more, Tim. You got to hold on there, buddy.
Yeah,
I got
excited.
one more.
The bid here, dude.
Look at this. What's going on here? This is Ethereum Classic. Why is it up 11% this afternoon or this evening right now? Because Coinbase just announced that they are likely to have trading and add it to their platform August 7th or later. They're doing the final testing right now.
Well, there it is. So I still am not comfortable with the ETF thing going through, but hey, it's definitely on the table.
Yeah, and listen, this was the guy that showed us how to buy Ripple at $3.
Seriously, that guy. He isn't that guy. Anyways, there's so many of them on there that have no clue. I know, it's pretty funny. So, all right, where are we at right now on daily? Let's go back over here. Yeah, we're looking at, let's jump over and just take a quick look at, I want to jump over to one more thing, and then I got to get running out of here. Let me see here. I'm trying to save all my charts, guys. Sorry. Apologize. Let's go over to, I want to open up EOS or Ethereum. Which one, buddy? Or Tron?
I guess let's do some EOS. That's fine.
EOS. All right. So we got EOS right here. Let's pull up our EOS. So if you look at my chart yesterday, I said EOS is looking strong. Okay. And if you look at what happened, EOS did look the strongest of all of everybody out there. So EOS did hold up better than everyone. It did dump out. It came up into my resistance. So it came right up into my resistance chart and then started to fall out again. Now this is a lot stronger if you're looking at this than Litecoin, because if you come over to Litecoin, Litecoin just took a turd. Bitcoin took a turd, right? Everybody just kind of fell out, right? There was a lot of falling out. EOS did hold its support from its previous lower low, and it's doing pretty good. Let me peel through this puppy real quick, and then we'll let Chone jump in. You did get this bear cross, right? You did get that weak bear cross on the 4 hour. On the 6 hour, nothing pending. No help on the candles. On the 12 hour, you will get a bad bear cross, but this is not going to happen for, see, 2 candles. So I called that out. This is not going to happen for 2 more candles. On the daily, no help. You are in a red 8. Now this is not 8. This is possible to make a perfected 9 if this does fall out to our 6.6 level. You would make a perfected 9. If this did bleed, you get all the way down here to 6.5. And all right. And let me just check the 3-day, the 2-day. No help. Wait, hold on. Where are you at? Nope, no help. 3-day chart here. No help. Oop. Oop. Okay. So you do have a bear cross coming. 3-day bear cross, August 6th. Yeah, let's see. That's possible. Okay. Then you had the weekly. No help anywhere. You do have support down here below. So there is your support on the weekly. I've got that listed already. Chon, what's your thought on ETC on EOS?
Yeah, I agree with all that. I'm so I use the Bollingers on higher time frames, and they're very tight on the daily. So I see a larger move is imminent. I agree with the TD prognosis, especially the 8 on the daily. I would look for a perfected 9. I'm seeing the rejection on the 52 area of the RSI on the daily. We tried 2 times to get up there, we couldn't, and now we're just putting in the slightest of higher lows on our daily RSI, but just barely. And if we break, like, we're right at a point, right at $7, where this is where the bulls need to step in and reverse this trend. Because right now there's some resetting in some areas, but I'm seeing other areas that show the kind of the bleed outs continuing. And again, this, we've not seen any major bullish divergence with EOS. It's basically bled worse than Bitcoin. And so we're seeing from a BTC standpoint, it's basically trying to stabilize. But it seems that every time it does that, it only puts in maybe a couple days of a bullish trend before it just rolls over again. I don't see why that trend wouldn't continue. So even with a bullish divergence in the BTC pairing, there's nothing that's going to tell me that the $6 range is not where we're going next. I think we are. Just because it's really right here. Like, you need the bullish push. You need to hold $7. This would create a very nice bullish scenario where we're putting in a higher lows from our $5.50 $5.90 range we were at back in April. That brought us that huge run where we went from $5 all the way up to $22. A lot of that was news related. And so if you want to basically think about how much of that we've just given back, from that full retrace, we've broken through the 786. So we're down to about 80% of that bull run we had through April, we've given back. So let's put in a higher low. Let's hold above, $6. If we break $6, then we can definitely put significant lows in. Last thing I'll say about EOS is that their ICO gave them a lot of money to play with. So as a entity, they can kind of help the price along the way with either news pumps or just their whole system, upgrading certain things. I know there was some big computer error earlier in the week, I think, that caused some FUD. So these are things that are going to continue to put the downward pressure on the price, and the fact that we're basically for a third time testing this almost $7 range. If we don't hold here, I just can't see why we would fall lower, or why we would not fall lower. And creating the $7 range is now a new resistance level.
Yeah, so I'm just adjusting. Just adjusting my charts right here when I try to dial everything in. All right.
This is a slight trend change we've seen the past day or two, where a lot of these alts, even though the USD pairing is bleeding red, the BTCs are starting to show some of that bullish divergence. So this only pays off if Bitcoin can basically pop higher and add the value back into these alts who are trending bullish yet are still losing their value, their overall value.
Okay, so we are in a pennant. right, so you have a pennant forming. Not a good one. This could actually be a symmetrical triangle also, if you want to pull that way down there. A bearish pennant. All right, this is bearish. All right, so there we go. So the trade setup on this is it's got to break. So the trade setup would be to break either one of the wedge here. Okay, so you have an easy trade setup. To break the wedge. This can go up or down. It's a pretty easy trade setup there. All right. Holy cow. All right, let's go over and take a look at, so we're going to go look over at Ethereum, and this will be our, oh, Jesus, Lord. You know what, let's do Tron real quick. So here's our Tron. Okay, so it did come down into my target zone. Jesus. Lordius, help us. God, Chone, what do you think, man? Are you even following this?
Yeah, I mean, Tron is it's really crappy. I mean, this has never
I love you, dude.
never recovered like any bit from its 1,000 Satoshi run that it had back in May. Had that false break to try and push up back in the end of May, and then just the bleed out. This was this is such a pump and dump. This is the classic pump and dump chart where the news driven event peaked out literally when the actual event happened, like Tron's mainnet online. And that was literally almost the nut top basically on May 1st. And ever since then, you just see the bleed out. You see all those Troners just taking their money and running, and every little buy up has just gotten swatted down. But now we're talking about, okay, we broke bearish from our triangle. We're now looking at a daily RSI still at 32. We've been lower. We've been 27. We've been 29. So, and the way we came down, we went from 53 to 32 in like 4 days on the daily RSI. That's a wicked drop very quickly. So we're getting in an area where a monthly bounce is probably getting close, but we're only on a red 5 on the daily. You know, we're on a, we just hit a 9 actually on the 12-hour. Now we're floating in our bleed up maybe a little bit there, yeah, but we're putting in a lower low on our 12-hour RSI.
Yeah, we're definitely bleeding on the 12-hour. All right, so the 6-hour, let's take a look at our 6-hour. So our 6-hour was a bleeding 9. It restarted the count with a 1. Then it started bleeding again. We're on a 2. 6-hour bleeding 9 needs a bounce, so it got it. So we're going to get rid of this. And, oh, all right. There's that. 6-hour throughway supercross. That was a bear supercross, so that did play out. There it all was right there. Boy, I'm trying to see, does anything help at all? The 12-hour, all right, so you had your 12-hour death cross. That played out. Okay, that was the hammer right there, so this is confirmed. So you had the 12-hour death cross. Let's take a look at our daily chart.
You know, what's really scary is just how close we are to our last area of historic support, you know, around 2.5 cents. That was it. That was what held us up basically last March.
Yeah.
Now we're back there. So this is that last, if we break through that area, we're back to an area of market price discovery, which could go as very low.
Wow. Unbelievable.
And this is a cult coin. This and Verge were two big pumped, massively pumped coins. There are a lot of believers in both of those projects, and this is unfortunately a very hard lesson where you can't hodl these alts and absorb this insane loss of value. You know. Because at this point, it's like you're just praying for a previous historic support to hold. And then after that, the bottom could fall out insanely quickly, especially if Bitcoin starts to fall. And I don't see, you know, I think a lot of people are asking, when is that flow out of money from Bitcoin into the alts? And there's nothing to show that's even begun yet. So the bleeding can still continue, and Tron is just another example of that.
Yeah, and if you see right here on the weekly is just set a brand new lower low, buddy.
Mm-hmm.
So, man, Tron is just taking an absolute beating right here. Let's switch out. Let's hold on a second. We're gonna go over to we're gonna load up our Ethereum chart, and let's let Chone see. Let's let Chone see what he can find on this. Hold on a second. All right, Chone, go for it, buddy.
You're on Ethereum USD? Yep. Okay, so listen, we're flirting with $400 again. You know, this is our third time. We held 414, we held 417. Both produced nice bounces that got us into the 450s to 470 range. We're back in this area once again. You know, we're barely keeping our head over 400. Now, when we bottomed back in early April at, was it 360s or so, that produced just a $150, 150% rise from that bottom in there. But we had to find support and hold support in that area there for almost like 10 days. So right now, either two things happen. We bottom in an area where we're able to hold support for a long time and establish that that's where the support is and the selling has dried up, or we have a capitulation dropout where we just have a bloody candle. Now, on the daily RSI, you know, we're at 35. I don't like that. And we bottomed back in April at 18. So there's still such room to fall. I see more on the daily than there is to kind of rise up there. And the you know, the 6 hour is just crappy. We're able to get above 30, and then we crashed below it. Now we're at 29. So it's just the continued bearishness in Ethereum. There's nothing that says this is not going sub 400, and you're kind of hoping that if that happens, we can regain support where it held previously in that 365 to 375 area. Other than that, that's your best chance of kind of that bounce zone if we fail to hold here. There are several indicators, especially on the ETH BTC area, that it has found a bottom support from the BTC ratio standpoint, and that can help the USD at least slow its bleed if Bitcoin does continue to bleed more. But a Bitcoin 6,500 clearly puts Ethereum about $350, and my overall long-term prospects are Ethereum are still mega bearish. I just don't see why this is not going back into the 200s again, just because of how it parabolically rose and how I see this continuing to unwind. I do see it behind Bitcoin, though. I see it behind Bitcoin by almost a month and a half, where Bitcoin basically retested that $6,500 area and broke bearish bringing it all the way to $5,700 yet. I think Ethereum is kind of back to that $6,500 area, hasn't broke bearish yet and will, and that will basically put in a lower low than 370. I'm looking for more of like a 325 to $300 test if we fail to hold that kind of 375 area.
Yep. So I'm throwing myself down here. All right. Trying to dig in here and get some support and resistance levels. Look for any crosses. Don't see anything. Yeah, nope. Nothing. Just this massive spinning top candle though, right here on the 2-day and the 3-day. Look at this thing. The wickedest candles come out from this, from ETC, Ethereum. Ethereum just has the craziest candle. Look at this crazy propeller candle. Had a crazy propeller candle there. It just likes to do these wicked candles. 3-day. So I have to say that it's a massive spinning top candle. This does not help me. Now it started out a brand new 1. So you are on a brand new 1 candle. I don't see how this can hold as a brand new 1. I haven't seen it in the past hold just a 1. It has always done a red 2 to follow it up. No help there. 3-day, no help, no crosses, no nothing. You do have a cross on the 2-day that's going to happen today. So the 2-day is going to have a, so the 2-day is going to have a 1, nope, I don't think it is. That 7's going to be moving faster, so it's going to go down. The daily, nothing. So I would just like to keep an eye on this, this spinning top candle, possible, and this would be bullish. This spinning top candle would be bullish if this closes out like this. This is just a crazy candle right there. It's really tough to play that. I go back. So look at this. Look at this. There's the big helicopter spinning top candle. Still fell out. I mean, God, it's just, this is tough. This is a tough candle. Just gonna
what's actually really scary too is that when we did bottom, I'm on like a 3-hour chart, just looking at the RSI, but I noticed that the shoot we bottomed at what, 395. We shot up to like a little bit, basically 410. It didn't reset the indicators as much as I would like, and almost allowed them to come up a little higher so they can fall more now. So we kind of have a little bit of a higher price with a much higher indicator, showing that I feel that the bottom could fall, and we've allowed more room for it to fall out because of that very light higher low on, a very short time frame here.
Yeah. So you did have this bleeding 9. This 9 did bleed up. I'm surprised this didn't actually flip over to a green 1. 6-hour rising wedge, no help. 4-hour, small bearish cross on the 4-hour. So on the 4-hour, you have you have a 4-hour, 7 and 100 bearish cross. It looks like it's a rising wedge too. I'm gonna have to say number 5 looks like a rising wedge. All right, there we go. That's all I got. I'm gonna pull this back to the 12-hour.
Ethereum also has a lot to do with the altcoins. A lot of these ICOs are based on Ethereum. So this just kind of folds into the altcoin bleed, and a lot of those really bullish Ethereum people who were assuming some sort of what was the big crossover where Ethereum takes over in market cap. I mean,
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
where that was supposed to happen. So this is kind of that rude awakening where Ethereum is just another altcoin, and it looks exactly like all its friends are right now. Just this continuation, even though it's holding up like right at $400, it's definitely spent some time here because there's a lot of history here. I remember back in like November or so, before Bitcoin really ran, Ethereum was at $400 forever, it seemed. So there's a lot of history right here. That's why breaking it back into the $300 range is so significant. And last time we were there, once we broke out of it, what a run that had. So are we kind of find something similar, but just maybe on a less like a lower move frame here? We went from 360 to 800. Once we bottom here, are we going to find a bounce that can take us from maybe 350 back up to $600? And then what kind of a Bitcoin environment does that entail? That would put us in more of a positive ETF announcement situation, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I'm going to. I mean, I think we could keep getting this kind of bounce in here also. So pull an ABCD. A B C D E. Maybe something like this. Maybe this. There we go. This could be doing something like this right here. This cross though is tough right there. You now got that bearish cross, but this does look like it is in kind of a flag thing. If you go candle to candle, if you go closes, it looks like that, right? If you go candle bodies, it looks like this. If you go wicks, so there will be your candle body. And then you'd also have your candle. Let's go like that also. Just to give everybody both scenarios. So there we go right there. All right.
It's interesting. Also on a 1-to-1, based on if you zoom out a little bit on the 4-hour Ethereum chart and you do a Fibonacci extension, but in reverse, basically, from where we topped out at $515 there to where we bottomed at $441.
Got it.
If you kind of think of that as wave 1 down, then right now wave 3,
so
basically
this right here
is
right here?
Yeah, well, so I basically did a fib extension, the other fib tool. So basically, I'm seeing the extension of wave 3 down based on wave 1. So yeah, there to there, and then pull up to 4885. Yep.
I used to be an Elliott guy.
So I'm seeing basically we're finding resistance right at a perfect 1-to-1 ratio.
Got it.
Of that wave 1 there, which is kind of interesting, So at a perfect 1-to-1 ratio, if that is wave 1, we basically could be some sort of an ABC. But you're right. We're now finding resistance under that versus support. We definitely broke it. So we went farther than a 1-to-1 extension in that wave 3, which is either we're basically on our 5th wave of this overall bear bleed out that would put us somewhere in that, you know, sub 370, 360 range, maybe, to kind of end where we're kind of end there. Yeah, about 350. And then it could put us all the way on a big wave 5 extension for sure, down to as low as 275. Absolutely. And this is a great tool that I like to use. It works great on the way up and it works great on the way down. And I love when you find areas of confluence of price action in line with certain fib levels.
Yeah.
Basically shows me the chart is respecting the fib levels, and that's important because you want to find the accuracy in this. And you can clearly see, because the 786 was acting as resistance, we went down to the 1, and now the 100% is acting as resistance, which could definitely put the 0.236, which is at 391, 363, and all the way down to, you know, as you have it down there, 270 something. So
yeah, good eye, buddy. Good job. All right. All right. And all right, last but not least. Oh, there it is. Yep, we did Tron. Okay, we did Tron, right? Did we already do Tron? We did Tron.
Yeah, we did Tron. It's very crappy.
That's right. All right. Oh my God. All right, what was our low level on Tron? Let me go back here. I don't think I saved that. Damn it. All right, so we're just going to put, so I'm going to go in here. I'm going to pull this back to the daily. We're just going to call this our oh shit zone, right? Because that's really what it is. Oh shit, don't break this. Okay. So if it did break this, we would actually go and let's do our, I mean, the only way we can get a target is to do our extension. Because there's nothing else down here.
Yeah. And, you know, the 1618 has kind of been the flavor of the month in some of these bullish extensions. So I would not be surprised if it follows suit on the bearish angle as well.
Got it. All right. So we're going to go here. Damn. Damn you, Tron. All right. Let's go over it. So here's our 1 day. Yeah, I had 3 black crows. I should have put this as, I'll relabel this. Okay. 13 black crows. Too soon? Too soon?
I think you should copyright that. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's pretty brutal. Wow. I mean, I don't even know where to go from here. Let me get rid of this stuff. And that is our top line support, but yeah. Boy, resistance is now moved down to there. Which puts us in line with this 3 cents resistance right here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, this is not. The candles aren't helping me either, because the candles look like. So you come over here in the 6 hour. None of this helps me. Nothing here helps me at all. All right, everybody. Gonna Save this, saved. Ethereum, saved. EOS, saved. LTC, I'll leave up. Last chart I wanted to go over with everyone. Okay, so here is my historical resistance and support chart right here, guys. I want to go, I'm sorry, this is my historical volatility chart. So what I did is I did a complete new update on it. I added all these little yellow arrows. Every time we have broken this green line, I've put a little arrow right here. And this is extremely, extremely dangerous place, right? Because every time we've ticked over this line and we flip back, you get these massive dumps. And when I talk massive, I'm talking these dumps are huge, right? This dump action is huge. From there to there was a 37% dump when you ticked over this, right? Look at this little one right here. As soon as this ticked over right here, you know, you had this big dump right here. You had a 33% dump. This one ticked over. You had a 37% dump. I mean, these are some dangerous, dangerous little areas right here. If this crawls up, see how we broke this? And it just breaks back down. These are vicious. So look at here. This bounced, crawled back up, and then died real quick. Just died. I mean, this is dangerous. This from here, from this little, where this little thing broke up to where it down was and it barely even moved. Was, oh shoot, come on, give me the thing back. Was 25% move. Now that's not as bad, you know, the price action was much worse. But just breaking over this and dumping back down is very, very bad. So we're in a very dangerous place. Now, if you get a good move up from this, you can see you do get this is a good little move. You know, you see the move from there to there. You see the move from there to there. You do see some good, you know, price action on these bounces. Same thing now when this came up over this came from way down here to way up here. This is a huge move. This is a big price action move back then. You know, and that price action move was let's squish that down. You know, you had a 23% price action move. That was a big price action move right there. Just from just going up, this little rocket up. Now that didn't just count. The little tippy toppy here was basically said, only kidding, and dumped us back over. But look at this. I have been tracking this thing every day. August 4th, this was yesterday, right? So yesterday, the close of the candle yesterday to today, right? Which is where we're at today. Look at how crazy. So here we are, August 5th, right? We're going to give this a different color. We'll do purple. So this would be a brand new August 5th. Daily close coming up here. We're going to make this baby purple. So look, the volatility went through the roof. Now we got to be so careful because going down, so I would have to say that this shows volatility when it moves up. When it moves down, it shows no volatility. But what is that? Is that volume dropped off? Let's see here. Okay, so you got the volatility came up. Nope. See, the volume doesn't really drop off when the price drops off. So you still have the volume there. And the overall volume. So what fell off? Chone, what the hell? What fell off here?
I'm looking at it. I have no idea. I see what you're saying.
Something has to signal this falling off. What is signaling this?
Maybe it was the speed at which the fall happened in the day.
You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do something super crazy. I'm going to put a moving average on this thing. And then
I think it was a cross.
I'm going to put an RSI on this thing.
Mm.
So I'm going to put a moving average on this thing. Let's see if we can figure out if we can track this with a moving average. Where is it? Okay, so there's the moving average. So there it is. I'm going to take all the drawings off. How can I line this up? 7. Doesn't really help me. 30. What's the source here? Let's pull this back up on the chart. Nope, it doesn't help me. I'm looking for something that's going to validate the where it got stopped. You know what I'm saying? So I'm trying to see, hey, nope, see, it doesn't help me there. Yeah, it just doesn't help me. I don't see anything. I'm going to go back to the HV. Chad, you see anything at all there? I don't see any corresponding action there. Let's pull this up. There's my RSI based on that. I'm trying to see what the hell falls out here.
It must have been a quick intraday price snap.
Yeah.
That recovered quickly.
Yeah, I'm going to have to dig into this thing really hard. I'm going to have to spend a couple hours on this chart and see if I can figure out what is falling out, what causes this, what signal can I see that says, hey, this dipped. What signal? There's got to be something that says that this dipped. You know, to give you a signal, like a crossover or something, some kind of signal, a stoke. I'm going to hunt this down and figure it out for everybody, okay? Yeah, there's got to be something that signals these bounce backs right here, and I don't know what the heck it is. All right. So anyways, going up here and dropping out is bearish, right? So if you come up here, you see this. So we got to be real careful because dropping, like we climbed all the way up this, dropping out on this, I'm not sure, but it is bearish. So let's keep an eye on. Now, a strong push up on this would be extremely bullish. Would be bullish. I don't want to say extremely bullish, but it would be bullish, and it would also validate a moon push for us. So I was gonna go in here. I was gonna dig down deep in here, and I was gonna set some levels that said, hey, if this breaks over A, B, C, D, or E, we would then have kind of a confirmed bull run. All right, so I am gonna dig back down into that and see what happens with that also. All right, and there's that. There's this. I'm going to bring this down. All right, let's see what we get here. Cheds, any final words, buddy, before we... Cheds? Dude, why do I keep calling you Cheds? Now it's in my mind. Now it's in my brain. Now I'm cursed, Joan.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I just feel like I'm not expecting Bitcoin to really drop out like right now. I'm actually kind of expecting this area to hold plus or minus, 68, 80 as kind of a low there. It's hard for a bounce to happen just because we didn't have a capitulation fallout. We just have this sideways price action. Normally, when we've seen this kind of sideways, it basically represents a bear flag and then a breakdown continuation. We could be putting in an inverse Bart Simpson for sure. We've seen those before, and that would basically pop us back over 72.50, if that was to play out. But it has got to be some sort of a news-driven event. I just don't see on the actual TA part of it, or MAs and whatnot, what would push that higher. The fact that you've pointed out so many bear crosses that are on their way, it's very ominous. And we're still in a low volume environment where a couple big players can really make some very drastic moves. Bitcoin's been vicious the past week. I think I saw on Twitter, this is the longest red daily candles in a row since 2014. So we're definitely in some uncharted territory we haven't been in for several years from a bearish perspective. And what we're seeing here is just a continuation of every time we are able to break bullish, we just top off, confirm our top off, and then give it all back and then some. And is this the third time we've basically been doing that since we had our parabolic top out? There's nothing to suggest that's not what's happening here. So I'm looking short term for this area to hold. I don't see, if 6,800 doesn't hold, then 65 to 63 would happen, but that would put us in some crazy oversold indicator areas. And for right now, as long as the daily RSI is still holding literally right at a very important historic support zone, which it actually just right is. Oh, I'm on the wrong place here. There we go. We're just right there. We're just right literally at 41 and change on the daily RSI. So if this breaks, I'm going to be increasingly more bearish and be looking for a 6,500 area. But if we hold this into the day, I want to see this as a little short-term bounce and a retest of $7,250 to $7,300. But to get that to happen, especially heading into tomorrow, our weekly close day, let's make this weekly candle look a little bit better. I think the bulls are going to want to do that. Right now, this weekly candle looks really bad. So I think another day to get us back over 7,000, to get that wick on this weekly candle just a little bit longer. I think there's enough bullishness in the market to do that. This will play out over the next 25 hours. We have one more hour left in this day, and then we have all tomorrow for that weekly candle to close out. And really, we're talking about setting the tone for the rest of August. And right now, that tone is bearish, and nothing suggesting that will change unless we can confirm a support bounce, and that could still bring us down to 68.50 for that to happen.
Yep, and all right.
But I like that we're holding 7,000 now. I want to see that close.
Yep. All right, now I'd like to remind everybody as we're about to sign off here, we have the Big Chone showing up, and I'm gonna make sure I get him a name tag when he comes out for. I'll get him a nice badge. It's going to say Ched/Chone. So in spirit, no matter what Ched's there with us there or not, which we're hoping he could be. But yeah, doubtful, but we'll have him there in spirit with us as long as Chone is there with us. So we do have our crypto campus, everybody. That is announced. And let me bring up our... So let me tell you a little bit about our crypto campus. Basically, it is 6 full days. Day 1 is... you'll have multiple rooms. We do have 3 conference rooms we have set up. We have 2 small ones. We have 1 large one. On day 1, it's basically the basics of trading. So for the traders that don't need the basics of trading, we're going to have a more in-depth day one for them also. So this is people who don't know how to set up a chart. We'll teach you how to set up a chart. Then we're going to go through the psychology and how to prep yourself to be a trader. And we're getting listen, you'll have everything. These will be, you'll have all the printouts, you'll have videos. We are going to live stream from we're going to do a lot of live streaming. We're going to have all of us are going to run daily shows every day from there. So it'll be a lot of fun. So day one is kind of inside the basics, right, of learning how to trade. Day two is really kind of a full immersion trading thing. So you're going to have level 1 and level 2. So the people don't need level 1. We're going to have other breakout rooms with a lot of our other speakers, and they'll be doing more of the level 2, the more hardcore in-depth trading. So you'll be able to go and bounce between any of the rooms at any time. Then the level 2 is basically just getting down and teaching you to trade exactly like us. Day 3 and 4 are all guest speakers, so you're going to have each one of these people have their own half-day sessions, third of a day sessions, where they're going to be able to break down, and you're going to be able to get into groups with them. They'll have their own main speaking seminar where they'll show you how they do their trading, and then we'll have technical courses given on each and every day. Then you'll break down into, we have breakout rooms on every day. We'll have breakout rooms into the smaller rooms where you can go in and get a 5-on-1, a 10-on-1. Now these will be limited. So you'll have like one day where you have Chon in one of the breakout rooms, and there'll only be 5 to 10 people allowed in that room. And that's it, right? To give that more customized experience. So you'll have Lisa in a breakout room with Martin. You'll have Chon in a room. You'll have Burb in a room. And you guys will be able to go into these breakout rooms and spend time with them. And you'll be able to sit down with them and really just spend that time that you can't get through a video. You can't get, here on YouTube. You can't get the kind of attention and the detail that you need to become a great trader like we are. You'll be able to sit down and get that one-on-one with these guys, or that very small group. It won't be one-on-ones, but it'll be small groups, 1-on-5, 1-on-10 at the most. Where you'll be sitting in and he'll be able to trade, and he'll be able to chart right in front of you. Why are you doing this? Why did you do that? What would you do here? What would you do there? And that's our job, is to teach you guys how to come out of this. Day 5 will be actually live trading sessions all day, right? To where you're going to take the tools that you have learned from day 1 till day 4, and we're going to be standing next to you while you're live trading. We also are going to have a scalpers tournament that goes on the whole day. From day 2 to day 6, you're going to have a scalpers tournament, to where everybody will get in there, because after day 2, you should know how to trade. So day 3, 4, and 5 is a scalpers tournament that we're going to have with everybody's going to start out with 0.01 BTC. And the people who get up to, over the 3 days, get their total up the highest, will be given an award. You'll get an actual Litecoin, an actual Bitcoin, and an actual Ethereum as your prizes for being the best scalping trader from day 1 till day 5. And then on the very 6th day, we'll have a scalping trade-off between the top 3 people that have gone through day 1, 3, 4, and 5. They'll have an actual live scalp trading thing. We will stream it live. We'll have the whole thing set up live. We'll give them 5 to 6 hours max in order to see how far they get. And the winner of that will get 1 Bitcoin on top of that. And he'll come out as the winner of the Crypto Campus trading seminar. The great thing about this is everybody will have a chance to have one-on-one time, small group time with all of us. We'll then do a panel. So we'll do a panel to get everybody together. You guys will be able to ask all the questions. We'll do an awards ceremony at the very end. Now, this does include a 7 nights in hotel, 4-star hotel, 6 days. 2 meals a day are included. So you do have breakfast, lunch, and then we'll have coffee, drinks, snacks set out for the entire seminar, so you don't have to leave while we're teaching. The greatest thing about this, unlike most normal seminars, is we will literally be going 24 hours a day, right? Where normal seminars end at 5 o'clock in the morning, you will have the ability to catch us doing late night sessions. We'll be down there cranking it out 24 hours a day. We'll have small groups, small breakout groups. So this isn't like a normal seminar where you go and, okay, it opens at 7 and it ends at 4 or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Dude, we're going to be rocking it out 24 hours a day. Somebody will always be down there. We'll always be trading, and you can come down and trade with us and ask questions. We'll be doing streaming 24 hours a day. It's going to be a lot of fun. So if you really want to get to the level where we're at right now as traders, this is something that's like a once in a lifetime opportunity for you guys to come out and trade with the best in the world, to learn with the best in the world, and that's what we are. So we have limited availability, so we're trying to break it down so that we can get literally 5 to 10 people per each one of us. So when we do our breakouts, we can really spend one-on-one time with you. Listen, you're going to eat breakfast with us. You're going to have lunch with us. It's going to be a lot of fun, okay? So, Chon, anything to say to anyone out there?
Aveiro is the Venice of Portugal. I've read up on it the past few days. It's an absolutely gorgeous area. It'll be my first trip to Europe, and I'm extremely excited. This is a tremendous opportunity. I think what you've created here is just an amazing chance to get such a concentrated wealth of trading knowledge, focused for a full week. It just seems like a tremendous opportunity if you want to take your game to that next level.
Yes, yeah. So, the other thing is we are trying to get Trading Room out there. He's trying to work in his schedule. He's got a couple of things going on. We're trying to clear his schedule up so he can come out there. Now, listen, the people that are on here are confirmed. We do have 3 or 4 other TA guys that we're trying to get out. We're reaching out to them right now. I've got some messages out to these people. We will have our own TA team in the house the whole time, but we're trying to get guys like Mind Trader. I would love to have him come out. You know what? Listen, even Philicone's on the table. I'll reach out to Phil. I'll definitely reach out to Phil. Phil is a trading beast. You know what I'm saying? He is a scalping beast. And we want this to be about you guys coming out and learning from the best. Okay, so for Big Chon and for Vamp and all of us here at Until 1 Mil, please do me a favor. There's 60 likes on this video right now, 110 people watching. Give us a like. Give us a share. Give us a subscribe. Go to our Twitter pages. Give us a shout out for all the hard work that we do each and every day. I know sometimes I get out there and I get a little bit cocky, but if you guys see some of the messages I get from some of the trolls on private messages, you guys would be like, seriously? People send you that? It's unbelievable. I miss a target by like 20 points or 50 points. He's like, oh my God, no, it went over. You totally missed. Yeah, it's very frustrating in the world of Twitter trolls. So sometimes I just want to poke back at the trolls a little bit. Forgive me for it. It does make me feel a little bit better inside when you do poke a troll. So for us here, we would like to say thank you guys so much for joining us. For Cheds, who is not here, and hopefully we can get him on the show soon. Huh?
Yeah, I'll work on that. I'll work on that for sure.
Okay, so hopefully we can get the real man on here, the man, the myth, the other legend on here. And for Chon and for Vamp, we are out.